StarCast returns to the Chicago area this Labor Day weekend. Tickets for StarCast 6 are now on sale at StarCast.com. Join us at the Hyatt Regency Schaumburg starting Friday night, September 1st, for unique fan experiences with wrestling legends from yesterday and superstars from today. Follow StarCast events on Twitter for the latest updates about all things StarCast. Can't be in Chicago? Premiere Streaming Network has you covered. Visit StarCastOnPremiere.com and get daily access or save with the weekend bundle. Get all past StarCast, the upcoming Wrestling Showcase event, as well as thousands of hours of content from your favorite promotions and stars, and 2 months of Premiere Plus for free. Order now at StarCastOnPremiere.com. StarCast 6 is brought to you in part by ProWrestlingCrate.com. Monthly mystery crates for die-hard wrestling fans. Plans start at $9.95 and are the perfect gift for any wrestling fan. Visit ProWrestlingCrate.com today.
Cold as a razor blade, as tight as a tourniquet, like the skin on a dying man. I don't want a piece of the world. I want the whole world. I make my own rules because it's much easier that way. Trust me.
What's up, everybody? It's Marcus D'Angelo, and we're back in the Snake Pit. And of course, you know who this guy is with the AEW t-shirt beside me. That is AEW superstar, WWE Hall of Famer, Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake, how you doing, man?
Doing great, bro. I've been beating that road up.
You certainly have, man. Making town just like the old days, right?
Yeah, boy, I'm telling you.
Well, and I know that you've got a big tour of Canada coming up.
Yeah, and a big comedy tour coming up there. It's going to be awesome. I believe Ottawa's already sold out.
Yep, yucks.
Yeah, they went on sale. 5 days later, they sold out.
I think you're still over, man.
So we're going to add another show.
That's awesome. And then following that, I know that you're going to, Sudbury.
Yeah.
Sudbury in Ontario, and then you're off to the London Comic Con there in Ontario. Yeah. So, man, fans up there in the Great White North are gonna have plenty of opportunities to see Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It'll be a great tour.
Well, by the way, folks, if you want updates on where Jake is going to be, you've just got to follow him on social media. Follow him at Jake Snake DDT on Twitter, at Jake the Snake DDT on Instagram, and at Real Jake the Snake on Facebook. He is always updating there. So head over there, follow him, and you'll get all the updates on where Jake the Snake Roberts is going to be next. So without any further ado, Jake, we got to get into our topic here. Last week, Medusa was kind enough to fill in for you. She did a hell of a job.
Great.
Yeah, it was fun having her on. But this week we're back to usual business, Jake. We are looking back to August of 1992 and the anniversary of when you joined WCW. So, look, I know it's not a time that you always look back on super fondly, but
no, it's not.
And I don't blame you. We'll get into the details here. I did the research, and some really unfortunate stuff happened along the way. But I must say that fans still think really highly of the incredible way that you debuted and the build-up to your match with Sting at Halloween Havoc 92. So, look, we'll tell the full story here. Let's wind the clock back a little to earlier in the year. You'd been working pretty comfortably in the WWF since 1986, and you enjoyed a ton of success there. At what point did you begin eyeing a move back to WCW?
Well, there had been some things happen with some people that got in trouble with messing around with young boys.
The Ring Boy incident, we talked about that.
Yeah. And that has went down, and Pat Patterson had stepped down, or so I thought. I had been promised Pat Patterson's job. And so when this went down, I'm like, okay, cool. I got the job now. I can get off the road. because I was wanting to get into the booking end of things
Yeah.
and TV. So I was very excited about it. But talked to Vince, and Vince said that out of respect for Pat Patterson, we're not going to fill his position.
Well, then who the hell's going to do the job?
Exactly.
So your plan at that point, in hoping to fill Pat Patterson's spot, was to retire from in-ring competition.
Right.
Now, did any thought in your head, if that were to have worked out, any thought like, man, I'm gonna miss kind of doing my thing in the ring?
Well, I was going to step it down,
Okay.
just maybe work the pay-per-views or whatever.
Yeah.
That was the plan, but didn't work out that way. No, I met with Vince the night before WrestleMania, like 2:00 in the morning.
Wow.
And he told me that they weren't going to fill that position, that things would continue to be as they are. And later on, I find out that Pat at no time stepped down. He was still there. He just wasn't being seen. He didn't come to TVs or show up at shows or anything like that. Just a big lie, And so I gave my notice. I gave my notice, and I was told that I had to give him a 90-day no compete.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't like it, but I had, what was I going to do, So I said, fine, fuck it.
Hard to blame you for being frustrated. It's
Yeah.
Longevity is not a huge thing in wrestling. Certainly not back then. Guys weren't working into their 40s because you couldn't. You were taking too many bumps. Hell of a lot more bumps back then. So yeah, here you are trying to eye a position in the office to try and extend your wrestling career, and it didn't work out. I'd be frustrated too, man.
I was very frustrated, very angry. I should have handled it better. Bottom line is, I should have never left.
Right. When you say you should have handled it better, is this when you're coming to Vince, are you saying like I quit, or are you having like a man-to-man conversation with him?
Basically, I quit.
Wow.
Because you lied to me again.
Okay.
It's hard to work for a liar, man.
What was his reaction like when you're kind of confronting him with this the night before a huge event?
It didn't bother him.
Really?
No.
So he didn't try to make any effort to dissuade you?
None at all. That's another thing that hurt.
It doesn't make any sense. It's just so crazy.
Yeah.
It's let's paint the full picture here. For 6 years, you had been a huge draw in the territory, and and now you had just become a heel here in the fall of '91, and you're red hot being a heel. You just came off that thing with Savage.
Yeah.
Like, you are red hot, and now Vince is like, oh, okay, well, if you got to go, you got to. It's I don't know, man. Yeah, nuts.
Yeah. Didn't bother him a bit.
Now, did you have a contract that you had to be released from, or was your contract at its end?
I had to be released.
Okay, and so they offered you release. They just said you've got to wait 90 days before you do anything.
All right.
Okay. Well, I did notice here in the Observer, Meltzer speculated that the fact that you gave notice may have impacted the way that your match went at WrestleMania. Do you remember having an agent try to alter your match, or did it go exactly the way it was always planned?
They wanted to have me DDT Taker twice and cover him. Well, I did, but I just took my time doing it.
It's smart, man. It is smart because you have to protect yourself going out the door.
Fucking right, man.
And then the finish, you called that on the fly, right? With the DD or the tombstone on the outside?
Yeah, that got a lot of heat.
So if he's gonna beat you, he better beat you with his nastiest shit being the idea, right?
Yeah.
That got a lot of heat when you got backstage.
Yeah.
What did they say to you?
The fuck, Jake? Fuck, I thought it was great.
It was great.
You kidding me?
Here's the thing coming out of that too is everybody wins. You know, he DDT or gave you the tombstone on the floor. It was devastating. And he gets the win, and then you get the win too because it's like, well, he kind of cheated, beat me on the outside.
Yeah,
you know?
whatever.
Yeah, so I don't know. Why can't everybody leave happy?
Well, they aren't going to have that.
Well, they didn't want it. So if they had pushed to have you like alter any specifics in that match, would you have, or because you're about to go out the door, are you just like, nah, I'm not doing it?
I'm fairly flexible.
Okay. Well, Jake, I have to say it's a really bold move to give your notice to this company. I mean, for perspective, you're here at WrestleMania 8, you're at the Hoosier Dome, and there are more than 62,000 people there. So it's a pretty good indicator that business is going really well in the company that you're with. Also, prior to coming to the WWF, you were a well-known wrestler, but coming to the WWF made you a household name.
Yeah.
So I say all that to ask, was there hesitation at the time, even though you're frustrated?
No
hesitation.
No,
You're
no
gone.
hesitation at all. I wanted to go home. It was more about me being able to be home more.
Okay.
Being that they did all their TV in Atlanta, I would have been home those nights.
Yes.
And that would have made my life a whole lot better.
And, I'm sure at that point you had how many children? I know that you had 7 in total, right? Yeah. I think you had maybe something like 5 children at that point.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, I'm sure that your wife was happy to have you back around.
Yeah.
As speaking of your wife, what did Cheryl have to say about this huge career change?
Oh, she was all for it.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. She was all for it.
So just the idea of getting you closer to home was a huge win for her.
Yeah.
She wasn't as concerned with like the financial aspect of it.
No.
Okay. So going out the door, is it like hugs, handshakes, goodbyes, or you just walk out after 6 years like nothing?
Just walk out like nothing, man.
Is that not even any like the guys came up to you?
Nope.
The guys know?
Nope.
Wow. It's, man, I have to say, it's like, I said it a few seconds ago. It's like, really, it's bold. You're in the biggest wrestling company on the face of the planet, and you're just like, no hesitation, no problem, walking out of there.
Yep.
I'm blown away, man. It's safe to assume that Vince did not thank you for your contributions.
Nope.
What a weird relationship. Like, why do you think that you had kind of a strange, or maybe sometimes strained relationship with Vince?
I don't know. He's been on tape saying that he's scared of me.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
Not physically, but my mental genius.
Ah. Okay. So maybe that's really what it boils down to, is he knows he's not gonna be able to kind of pull his bullshit with you, because we always hear that he would pull people into the office when they were frustrated, and by the time they walked out of the office, they were all grinning and feeling good, even though nothing had changed. But maybe he was
done that a few times.
Did he do that? Did he get that with you?
Oh yeah. You walk out of the office kicking yourself in the ass because you bothered such a nice man. Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay, guys, let's hit the pause button to tell you about WrestleQuest from MegaCat Studios, which is now available. Man, we have heard the hype for this game, and let me tell you right now, it is real. Incredible reviews, legendary stars, and a wrestling gaming experience like none you have ever had before. WrestleQuest is a love letter to classic role-playing games, the pixel art games of our youth, and the golden era of professional wrestling. Powerbomb your way through a massive game where the worlds of toys, action figures, and wrestling collide. This is a sweaty, spectacular pro wrestling take on the cherished Japanese role-playing games. We're talking about 40-plus hours of core story content and 20-plus fully licensed pro wrestling legends like our man Jake the Snake, Macho Man Randy Savage, Andre the Giant, DDP, Jeff Jarrett, and much more. The list spans decades in various promotions featuring talent from all over the world. More than just statues, each legend has their own side quest. Players can earn the wrestler's signature gear or the right to call upon their finishing moves in combat. In some cases, the wrestler may even join the player as their manager. Cut promos on your opponents before fighting them in the ring and customize your walk-on routine, including theme music, pyrotechnics, and other effects. WrestleQuest is available now for PC, consoles, and mobile, and let me tell you guys, as a gamer, this is not a game that you're going to want to miss. This game is going to set a new standard in pro wrestling gaming, and I, for one, cannot wait to start playing it. Again, it's WrestleQuest. Download your copy right now. So, Jake, following WrestleMania, you're home from April until August, waiting out your non-compete. So here you are, you're going from being on the road nonstop, only a few days a month at home, and it all just comes to a screeching halt for about 4 months.
Yeah.
So what did you do with all your time?
Spent a lot of time by the pool, doing things I shouldn't have been doing.
So that was actually something I was going to ask is, does it escalate your drug and alcohol use, or does it slow it down?
It escalated.
So is like Cheryl's present? Is she like trying to give you shit for doing it? Are you hiding it?
Yeah, she's giving me a hard time. Yeah, I try to hide it.
Man, idle hands, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have always heard from wrestlers that the whole time you're on the road, you can't wait to get home. But then once you get home, all you can think about is getting back on the road. I mean, 4 months. 4 months is a long time. Were you falling up the walls by the end of it, ready to get back?
Oh yeah. Plus, I'd had the pleasure of seeing that no good fat motherfucking Bill Watts.
Yes.
And he explained to me how my new contract was going to work, which wasn't anything like the one that Kip Fry and I came up with. See, that was the thing. Kip Fry had sit down with me and come up with a contract that would have left me set for life.
Yeah.
It was a multi-million-dollar contract. And then when Watts got there, that was the end of that shit. And Watts told me that my new contract would be $1,000 a day. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? He knew that I couldn't turn around and go back to the WWE.
Right.
So he just squeezed me.
It's hard to wrap your head around it, especially because he brings you in and he puts you in this really high profile position with the top star in the company. So obviously he sees value in you, but he just kind of knew he had you by the balls and took advantage of it.
He wanted me to come in and me just get beat flat out.
How does that draw money with a guy?
It doesn't. But that's how stupid fucking Watts is.
So
not only that, he banned the snake.
Yes. So that would be following Halloween Havoc, right?
Yeah. And as soon as he did that, brother, I said, I'm out of here.
So when you heard that Watts had been hired to replace Fry, are you like immediately when you hear this, are you concerned, or are you hopeful he'll honor it?
I knew I was fucked.
I know that you and Bill were never really friends by any means, but when you left Mid-South in '86, was it pretty amicable, like end on a handshake?
Of course.
So why do you think he had it out for you even these years later?
Part of his deal with WCW was to break these contracts up. Some of those contracts were unbelievable, man. Those guys were getting fat.
Yes.
They were getting fat, man. And his contract had to do with how much money he saved WCW.
Okay.
Now, how does he save money? Well, he gets you to renegotiate your contract for less money. Now, who's going to do that? Well, if you don't do it, what he would do is he'd threaten you with putting you on TV every week and getting beat by jobbers.
Well, rumor has it that he tried to pull that shit with Brian Pillman. And Pillman said, "Hey, I don't care. I'll be the highest paid job guy you've ever had."
Yeah.
And he was. He just continued to get beat. And he was like, "No problem. Yeah, I'll put him over."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's but a guy in your position here, you are coming into this new company. I mean, you've got to just kind of take what they're giving you, and
Yeah,
man.
man, I was stuck.
I mean, let's start here. Kip Fry and the contract that he offered, you said it was great. Is it like incentive laden? Is it just like a flat?
Oh
Here's what you're
yeah,
making every
it's
year.
incentive laden. Oh man, I had my own 900 line. I had my own merchandise. I had everything, man.
Wow. Now, do you know if the original? I know I'm asking you to reach back, whatever, 31 years. Do you know if Kip Fry, if the plan was, hey, we're gonna bring you in as a heel, put you in with Sting, or
Yeah,
what? Okay, so that was always the plan.
yeah.
Okay, well, Bill stuck to that. He just kind of fucked with your money.
Oh boy, did he.
You and I have talked before about how you felt you were kind of out of options. You know, you left behind the WWF, and now here you are stuck with a contract that is not what you originally agreed upon. Was
Right.
there ever a moment when you considered telling Bill to just fuck off and try your hand in Mexico or Japan or the Indies? We know you would a few years later, and you made good money.
Yeah. Not at the time.
Is
Not
it
at the time.
is it just because of the national TV exposure, the guaranteed money as opposed to the
But
possible money?
no, it was the fact that I wanted to work at home.
I gotcha. I gotcha. It's the fact that
You
you get to
know?
drive back to your house after a taping.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a big win. Might sound weird, but hear me out on this. Did you ever consider just giving Vince a call after this whole contract situation to see if you could
Nope.
work something out?
Should have.
Do you think that he would have brought you back in?
Yeah.
I can't imagine that he wouldn't. Like, why would he let a huge asset like you go to the competition?
Yeah.
Man, it's I can see why you're frustrated on the way here, but once we get here, Jake, it's a pretty special night. You make your WCW debut in Baltimore on August 2nd, 1992 for a taping that won't air until the 8th. It's a moment fans absolutely love to this day, and I've heard a lot of people say it's among the greatest wrestling debuts they've ever seen. I have to agree, man. Let's watch the clip and talk about it.
Wait a minute. What's going? There's some commotion. Who's that coming through the? That's Jake Roberts. What is Jake Roberts doing here? Jake the Snake Roberts slithering into the ring. Jake Roberts attacking Sting. And now he's got the chair. Jake Roberts doesn't even wrestle in WCW. What's he doing here? Jake the Snake Roberts nailing Sting with a chair. Oh, short clothesline. He caught the Stinger. Oh, my God. Roberts with that steel chair. Jake the Snake, the master of the DDT. He dropped him on his face and handed that steel chair with a DDT. Jake the Snake Roberts coming out of nowhere. He's manhandled the referees. Slapping Sting in the face. The DDT around the chair. The Stinger's got to be out of it right here. Not another one. Not another one. And oh! Another DDT. Right on the chair. Oh, man. My God, I don't even... He's got that glove, that snake handler's glove. And that... What's going on here? Oh, no. Oh, no. Sting is out of it. The referees have been... The locker room is finally empty, but Jake the Snake... Oh... The Steiners and Ron Simmons there. There's Barry Windham. Sting is hurt badly at the hands of Jake the Snake Roberts. He's got some huge reptile there.
Dude, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a debut. And
Fuck,
I mean,
I was hot.
in that leather jacket with like
Oh,
leather
yeah.
pants, those things are not breathing. You have got to be
I
in
got
need
some
of
cheese.
In need of some Manscaped. Are they still a sponsor? They are. And that, boys and girls, is what you call ad placement. Attention fantasy football fanatics, as draft season approaches, don't neglect the most important draft pick of all, your game balls. We all know how injuries can ruin a season, so let Manscaped take care of that Reggie Bush of yours with their skin-safe technology. This should guarantee you have a smooth ride into the playoffs. The leaders in below-the-waist grooming have created a championship lineup with their Performance Package 4.0, and it's time for you to do the same. Join the 9 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code SNAKEPIT. We've all been there, guys. You're trying to clean things up down there a little bit. Maybe you're moving a little too fast, getting a little overzealous, and next thing you know, you've gotten color in the last place you would ever want it. Well, those days are gone because Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0 is your new MVP level starting lineup. Slotted at quarterback, we have the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. This spaceship is here to guide you on a journey to trim your body, balls, and even your A-gap. This 4th generation trimmer also features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multifunction on-off switch, and is even waterproof. The Lawnmower 4.0 also has a 4,000K LED spotlight, brighter than Bryce Young's future in the end zone. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker, the ultimate flex. Watch it run through ear and nose hairs like Aaron Donald runs through your favorite quarterback. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual blade system. Here's the one that Jay could have used with that WCW debut. Don't forget to use the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and their Crop Reviver to help your little bench warmers be on their A-game while feeling the sun's heat. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and Shed Travel Bag. Who's the commissioner now? Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code SNAKEPIT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code SNAKEPIT at manscaped.com. It's time to put the PP back in PPR and get a grip on your pigskin this season with Manscaped. So, Jake, this is years before Scott Hall came down through the crowd and kicked off that NWO storyline on Nitro, and that's like kind of the one that people always point to. But like some realism here, you know, that this feels like somebody from the WWF invading, and all the locker room clears to kind of chase you off. What did you think of it watching it back all these years later?
It was great. It was great, man.
Just really well done. You know, Bill Watts was fucking up a lot of stuff in this era as far as like the over the top rope rule, and he was removing the pads at ringside and stuff like that. Just kind of like old school 70s wrestling mentality. But this was nice.
Yeah.
Andrew Hermes, a guy who helps on some of the other shows with research, pointed out that you came to the ring this night with what was clearly a python, but you'd soon go back to carrying the cobra. Do you remember why that change was made? I think I know.
I don't know.
I was gonna guess because the cobra's a lot later to carry around.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you were like, hey, that's enough of that. Let's go back to the cobra.
Let's go back to fucking cobra, man.
I mean, after coming through the crowd wearing that leather jacket, it's probably sweating your ass off. Yeah, I don't blame you. Let's lighten the load. So coming in the door, I have to imagine that you're pissed and incredibly frustrated this whole time. But you know, when that red light is on, Jake, you're right back to being that ice cold character we all came to know so well in the WWF.
Yeah.
How do you get past the frustrations to deliver such a convincing performance here in WCW?
It's the same old story, man. When the light goes on, everything's good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the frustrations go out the window. You get to do your thing. You know.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing you look forward to every day is doing your thing. That's the best time of the day when you're in the ring doing your thing.
I have to believe that during those 4 months off, it's like, you know, were you watching wrestling while you were away?
Oh, yeah.
So watching wrestling, it's like you got to be starting to feel like itchy. You're like, I can't wait.
Oh, yeah. I was going nuts.
Man, it was cool. What a hell of a moment. Jim Duggan has said before that when he got to the WCW about 2 years after this, there's a little tension in the locker room. He was a wrestling veteran like yourself, and he felt like some of the guys there were threatened by his presence. Walking in the door, did you get that same impression?
Yeah, big time.
Really?
Big time. Yep, they left me alone.
So, like, you walk in the door, it's like, these guys aren't coming up, shaking your hand, wanting
Nope.
to wow.
Nope.
Okay, so it's just, like, stairs across the locker room, and you're keeping to yourself.
Yep. Really sucked.
It sounds like it suck. So there were a couple guys there that you knew and had relationships with. Your former ashtray destroying roommate Nikita Koloff was there,
Yeah.
and your buddy DDP was there, of course.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like your friend group when you arrive?
Just DDP.
Okay, so he's the only one you're really hanging around.
Yep.
Is that just at first, or did it last for the entire whatever?
Lasted the entire time. Well, I'd buddy up with Cactus.
Okay. You guys had a lot of on-screen chemistry in this era.
Yeah.
We're gonna wind up doing a Halloween Havoc episode at some point, maybe this year, possibly next year. But like the build up to it, you and Cactus are working together a lot, and it's like cool chemistry, and it kind of almost felt like eventually you guys might have an issue with each other as well.
Oh, we'd have to.
Right. Man, at this era, he was doing that crazy nesty plunge off of the apron.
Yeah.
He'd been thrown off like that big flat stage onto concrete and did like essentially a flat back bump from like 4 feet. So I know that you're not taking those bumps if you're working with Cactus. Would you have felt comfortable if he said, "Hey, throw me off this"? Would you have been like, "Yeah, sure"?
You're fucking right, I would. And I'd give him a good boost.
Launch him a little bit.
Yeah.
My goodness, that dude just put himself through the ringer.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Sting here for a bit. This would have been the first time that you had ever crossed paths with him, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, by the time he had risen to fame, you're in the WWF and keeping busy making towns and building your career. So I'm wondering, did you even have much of an opportunity to see any of his work at this point?
Nope.
So like you're coming in here, you know that he's the guy, but you are unfamiliar with his work, everything.
Yeah.
Did you talk to him before you went out there? Is your first time kind of meeting him in the ring?
Just met him in the ring.
Are you communicating with him in the ring or just kind of leading him?
Just leading him.
Okay. Well, what are your early impressions here of him as a person and performer?
Oh, he's fine, man. Nice guy.
What about his ring work? What did you think?
He had his shtick down.
He sort of like Hogan. He had his stuff that he did.
Yeah.
Right, but did it really well.
He knew how to do it, knew when to do it. He did it really well.
Are you optimistic coming in the door that you and Sting can make a really strong program out of this thing?
Sure, I was.
Yeah.
And then it winds up being a one-off.
Yeah.
Makes no sense at all.
No, it doesn't. Especially with like it was such a fast build where it's like you come in the door and then all of a sudden, we're gonna watch a promo here in a little bit where it's like you're calling for a contract and they're like, okay, you got a contract. Boom, there's a contract. You immediately go into filming these little mini movies that we're gonna eventually watch here. And yeah, it all just happened really fast, and which is not kind of really the tradition for wrestling at that time. This was the era of like 4 to 6 month storylines, was it not?
Yeah, it was, man. This was different. It was on speed.
Like, do you think that Bill Watts had because look, for all of his faults, he had booked some really good, compelling stuff while he was in Mid-South, and now here he is, and he just can't seem to get out of his own way with some of this shit. Like, what do you think? He just lost his touch?
In Mid-South, he had other people booking it.
Okay, like Ernie Ladd and them?
Yeah, Ernie and different guys that were helping. I was a helper.
That's right, yes.
I booked with Ernie. So we'd come up with the ideas and Bill would just go with it.
Gotcha. So at this point, he doesn't have any lad anymore. I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess he's not asking you for advice.
Nope.
So he was on his own.
Yeah.
Well,
Him and Dusty.
it showed, and he ended up, of course, pushing his son Eric Watts. You and I talked about Eric here a little bit, and you said that you had no problem with him, but like,
no.
Were you seeing the frustration backstage when Watts is pushing his own kid?
Sure.
Just really hard to imagine anybody being that like tone deaf where they're just like, yeah, no, it's, he earned it. He's a former quarterback or whatever. He should be a star here. Well, this night in WCW is also very well known for another reason. After you injured Sting and prevented him from a title shot against Vader, Ron Simmons would win a raffle to take on Vader and would win the WCW world title, becoming the first African-American world champion. So, I mean, just an awesome historic moment here, Jake. What did you think of Ron Simmons getting this huge opportunity on such a big stage?
I thought it was great, man. It was high time. He certainly well deserved it. You couldn't ask for a better guy to put in that spot.
Yes, I mean, a great, legitimate athlete. The clip that night of him slamming Vader. Vader is whatever. He's pushing 400, more than 400.
Yeah.
And Ron just picks him up like he's a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a freak athlete.
He was a solid 450.
Yep, and Ron, no problem, hoists him right up, turns him over, and just an incredible athlete. Ron, I've heard JR say that Ron, his biggest downfall at this point was inexperience, and that kind of hampered him. Were you confident that he would have success after this win?
I knew he'd have success, but I didn't know how much success he was going to have.
Okay,
because it's all about who they put you with. It really is. And I don't remember who they wound up putting him with.
I know that I believe he continued to work with Vader.
Well, that's not good.
No, and he would work with Lex Luger. So maybe he needed somebody with a little bit more experience.
Yeah, whether it be Arn or myself or whoever, but he would have grown more.
Okay, guys, time to take a couple minutes to tell you about our sponsor, HelloFresh, and the reason why they're America's #1 meal kit. How's this? With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip the trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. Fall is almost here, and HelloFresh is here to help you plan for that busy season ahead with tasty dishes delivered right to your door. Simply choose your recipes and pick your delivery date, then lay back and enjoy the last days of summer knowing that dinner is covered. Look, we all get bummed out when summer's coming to an end, so why not take some of the stress out of the season? Let HelloFresh take care of the meal planning and deliver pre-portioned ingredients right to your home, so whipping up a homemade meal is made easy. And you want to talk about variety? HelloFresh keeps your taste buds on their toes with 40 chef-crafted recipes to select from every single week. From family-friendly to fit and wholesome, you'll find new and exciting recipes to try and love. HelloFresh doesn't just have you covered on full meals either, guys. Add snacks, sides, and more to your weekly HelloFresh order. Just simply shop HelloFresh Market and take your pick from a curated selection of over 100 add-on items. By the way, as a parent, I now completely understand the back-to-school stress. Trying to get supplies, clothes, and everything else is a huge hassle, so why not do what my wife and I did and eliminate something from your to-do list? Let HelloFresh get the groceries and save you some cash with pre-portioned meals delivered right to your door. To make life a little easier, we used to spend a small fortune on delivery. Well, those days are gone too thanks to HelloFresh. It's 25% cheaper than takeout and less expensive than grocery shopping. Let me say that again. 25% cheaper than takeout and less expensive than grocery shopping. I'm telling you guys, HelloFresh is a game changer. The thing I really love about HelloFresh is that you can truly taste the difference in quality. This food is unbelievable, and the recipes they provide will be used for years in my house. Our recent favorite is the crispy kicking cayenne chicken cutlets. They are absolutely delicious. They were super easy to prepare. My wife and I had fun putting this meal together before sitting down to enjoy a restaurant quality meal that came to us. Guys, go to HelloFresh.com/50snake and use code 50snake for 50% off plus free shipping. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/50Snake and use the code 50Snake to save 50% and receive free shipping on America's #1 meal kit. Well, Jake, 1 week after the events in Baltimore, you joined Jim Ross on the Ross Report to discuss your actions. Let's take a look at this.
Welcome back to TBS, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Jake the Snake Roberts, and 7 days ago in the Baltimore arena, you returned to assault Sting. And I know, let's just cut right to the chase. You and I have known each other a long, long time. Why did you do it?
Well, you don't know me that well. But I will say this. Why did I do it? Why not? Why not? If you want to get someone's attention, do I go out and slap the ring boy that takes the jackets back? Do I slap the referee? No. I step right up to the big gun, the one that the WCW has idolized, and jerk a nod in him. That's what you do. If you want to get somebody's attention, go to the front of the line, man. Slap the guy up front. And Sting, you were the guy up front.
Yesterday on WCW Saturday Night, Cowboy Bill Watts seemed perhaps a little perplexed because you officially do not wrestle for WCW, but they're investigating this whole situation. Charges could be filed.
Well, I'm sure that's what Sting's thinking about right now. That would be the smart thing for you to do, Sting. Have me charged with assault. Let the police arrest me. Don't you take it on your own to think you're man enough for one moment to step up and take care of this business. Now, if WCW wants to do something about this, they can charge me with assault, or you can get out that paper and put the right number down, and I can sign that paper. But Sting, here's what I'm telling you, the smart thing for you to do, and all I'm asking from you is this one thing. Quit. Quit while the quitting's good, because if you step up in front of me, man, I'm not afraid to pull that trigger. I'm not afraid to kick that box out from under you, man. That's exactly what I'll do.
Fans, we're just about out of time here, but we'll be speaking more with Jake the Snake Roberts tonight at 9 o'clock on AM 750 WSB, and we'll be taking some calls from, I'm sure, some Sting fans tonight.
What's left of them. And Sting, don't make the mistake of stepping in front of me, because I will pull that trigger.
Fans, the main event continues here on TBS right after this timeout.
That was fucking great, dude.
Oh, Jim looking pretty young there.
He is looking pretty young.
Get that young boy look on his ass.
So Jim Ross, man, you had spent your time around him in Mid-South, and probably the best thing that ever happened to him was Bill Watts getting fired and him getting demoted, because that put him in the WWF and launched his career.
Yeah.
Early on, had you been around anybody who was better than Jim Ross? Gordon Solie, maybe?
Gordon Solie, of course, but Jim Ross was getting to the top of his chosen profession. He wasn't quite there yet, but he was getting there.
Man, incredible to see what he would go on to do in wrestling, with the WWF. And now, today he's back with AEW.
Yeah.
It's rumor has it that maybe his contract may be coming to an end with AEW. I hope that they renew him, man. I think he brings a lot to the table.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Man, a guy with that enthusiasm for wrestling, that kind of knowledge, to me, irreplaceable.
Yeah, absolutely.
When most of the people think about this run, they think about Sting, but you got to work with some other great young talents. Jake, do you happen to remember who your first match in WCW was with?
I think it was with Dustin Rhodes.
It was with Buff Bagwell.
Buff Bagwell.
Yep, he was just Marcus Bagwell at this point. August 8th in Chicago, you'd get a win over him. Man, he's only 22 years old here. What did you think of the young Marcus Bagwell at this time?
I can't remember. I'll be honest with you. I can't remember.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I know that you've got a relationship with Buff nowadays, and he's fighting some of the demons that you had fought there years back. Do you have an update for us on Buff? How's he doing?
He's doing pretty well, man. He's hanging and banging, and he's staying clean, staying sober, and he's taking care of some court stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff that help get you there. When you're a bad boy, you got to suffer the consequences, and he's taking care of those consequences now. He's not bitching about it. He's just doing it.
I think one of the biggest steps is taking responsibility for your actions and
Yeah.
realizing that you were wrong and making a commitment to fix it. And it sounds like that's the stage that Buff is at right now, right?
Yeah, it sure is, and he's doing it, man.
I'm happy to hear it. Prayers up for Buff. I hope to continue to see his ascension past his issues. So your next match is 5 days later, and it's against another great performer. We talked about him a little bit earlier. You would defeat Brian Pillman in Sarasota. This is just a few years before he became the loose cannon, but by this time he was establishing himself as a star babyface.
Yeah.
Not sure we'll get to discuss Brian very often here on the show. What did you think of him, and what did you think of his work?
His work was solid, man. It was real solid.
Mm-hmm.
Had a good time with me. I think we had a pretty fun match, if I remember correctly.
It got good reviews from what I'm seeing. Where
we must have had a good time then.
I think you guys put on a hell of a show. And what about as a person? I know that you were, at this time kind of into the party scene. Rumor has it that he was too.
Yeah. I remember running into him a couple of times.
All right, Jake, let's do a couple fan questions and we'll get out of here. Instagram, a wrestling historian asks, who did you want to wrestle the most in WCW that you didn't get to? Thanks in advance. Anybody stick out?
Oh, sure. Barry Windham.
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine renewing that rivalry?
Yeah, it would have been great.
Boy, that would have been fantastic. Another one, a kind of underrated option here is Ricky Steamboat was there at this time as a baby face.
Yeah.
Man, could have been a real blast. Rick Rude, you guys could have done that.
Yeah.
So, man, there were a lot of options. Bart Teller asks, did you interact with Paul Heyman at all during your time in WCW? What did you think of Paul overall?
Just a little bit. I liked Paul in the beginning. We got along great.
You said in the beginning, you and I are going to be doing an ECW episode here in November. Do we have more Paul Heyman stories on the way?
Well, I'm sure we do.
Okay, we'll leave it at a cliffhanger there.
Yeah.
So that'll do it for this week, Jake. Next week, when we do our next podcast, it's going to be 35 years to the day since SummerSlam 1988 and your match with Hercules, right in the middle of your red-hot feud with Rick Rude. So we'll look back at that time and talk about all the circumstances surrounding it and everything in between.
That's great, man. See you guys next week.
Guys, if you're looking to get your product or service in front of that 25 to 54-year-old male demographic, you've got to get over to advertisewithsnake.com. Jake is a superstar, a Hall of Famer. He's still on TV with AEW, and you can get him to put over your stuff to the exact audience you're targeting. If you need evidence that it works, just listen to our show. We routinely advertise for the same businesses because they know that what we do works. Head to advertisewithsnake.com and make Jake Roberts your tag team partner today. JakeTheSnakeShop.com is your destination for rare signed collectibles straight from Jake himself. Autographed figures, shirts, 8x10s, and much more. If you're a collector, this website is like heaven. Go right now to JakeTheSnakeShop.com and add a brand new centerpiece to your wrestling collection straight from the Hall of Famer himself. Get over to Cameo.com/JakeSnake for a personal message from Jake. Here's an anonymous reviewer. Absolutely perfect. Jake took my minimal but kind of specific directions and made something amazing, funny, and emotional. Everything I could hope for. If you're a lifelong fan, you've got to get a Cameo from Jake. Again, it's Cameo.com/JakeSnake. Order yours today. If you're looking for stylish, vintage style merch, we've got you covered over at boxofgimmicks.com. If you're a wrestling fan from the 80s and 90s like I am, you probably miss a lot of the incredible looking merch of the era, right? Well, you're going to love the throwback style we have, and it's a great way to support our show. Again, that's the Snake Pit page at boxofgimmicks.com. Guys, you've got to check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/@SnakePitPod for short clips from our show, highlights, and some exclusive content. Also, we do giveaways over there, and the only way to be eligible is simply to subscribe over there at youtube.com/@SnakePitPod. I'm doing one right now on my podcast with Ted DiBiase, and we're going to be doing one again shortly here with Jake. So get over there, subscribe. It's free and it's worth it because you get all those incredible clips along with it. Also, if you've enjoyed our podcast, please like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review on all podcast platforms because that helps us out a bunch. Also, just a reminder, you can get the Snake Pit and all of our other shows in our network early and ad-free over at adfreeshows.com, starting at just $9. That's less than 15 cents an episode each month. Plus, tons of bonus content, interactive chats with your favorite hosts and wrestling personalities, and much more. Head over to adfreeshows.com today and get signed up. Catch Jake on Twitter at JakeSnakeDDT, on Instagram at JakeTheSnakeDDT, and on Facebook at Real Jake the Snake. Follow me at Marcus P. D'Angelo on Twitter, and you can follow the podcast at Snake Pit Pod on all social media platforms. Fun episode today. We'll catch you guys next time right here on the Snake Pit.
StarCast returns to the Chicago area this Labor Day weekend. Tickets for StarCast 6 are now on sale at StarCast.com. Join us at the Hyatt Regency Schaumburg starting Friday night, September 1st, for unique fan experiences with wrestling legends from yesterday and superstars from today. Follow StarCast events on Twitter for the latest updates about all things StarCast. Can't be in Chicago? Premier Streaming Network has you covered. Visit StarCastOnPremiere.com and get daily access or save with the weekend bundle. Get all past StarCast, the upcoming Wrestling Showcase event, as well as thousands of hours of content from your favorite promotions and stars, and 2 months of Premiere Plus for free. Order now at StarCastOnPremiere.com. StarCast 6 is brought to you in part by ProWrestlingCrate.com. Monthly mystery crates for die-hard wrestling fans. Plans start at $9.95 and are the perfect gift for any wrestling fan. Visit ProWrestlingCrate.com today.